Alright, I'm going to show you how I cook beef tongue. I know a lot of people are squeamish about it, and that's fine. You shouldn't have to eat anything you don't want to eat, but if you've never tried it and you just squeamish at the idea, that's a choice you make to basically cheat yourself out of life experience. So you ought to give it a try. It's a really good piece of meat, very fatty, very tender when it's cooked right. And most of the meat that comes through the kitchen here we raise ourselves. This was raised by some folks down the road. We don't generally raise beef here, but there's lots of ways to cook it once you prepare it. My mom used to grind it up and make a salad similar to a ham salad out of it to spread on sandwiches. I like to have slices of it that are just quickly pan fried, and it's a pretty fatty meat but a fine texture, so it's good with a sauce like a vinaigrette or something that has some acid to it. So anyway, let me show you what we've got here. This one, when they butchered it, they lost a little bit of meat here. Normally there's this tough strip in the back here that you want to kind of cut out, and a lot of that's gone already because they cut it straight. There usually is a bulb of meat up here that you want to cut the middle out of, but I'm going to trim out just a little bit of this that got left in there. And some people leave that in. It's a little tough and a little stronger flavored, but it's optional to take it out. And tongue is pretty popular in a lot of parts of the country. If you've ever eaten at a good Mexican restaurant and had lengua, you've probably had some of the best tongue in the world, but it's also not that uncommon in Europe and other parts of the world. For some reason it's just not that popular in the US, except for people like us that live out where you want to take all of the meat and not waste anything, instead of just going to the store and buying it in plastic. So that's cleaned up pretty good. They did a pretty good job when they butchered it. What I'm going to do, I've got a pot of water over here with about a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of vinegar in it that I brought up to a boil. I'm going to put this in there, get it to just a low simmer, and leave it for 2 or 3 hours until I can stick a fork in it and it just slides off. You don't want to grab the fork and lift up. And at that point we'll be able to slit the skin and peel it, and then we'll have the cooked meat inside. And then you can slice it up, grind it up, stew it, do whatever you want to make a good meal out of it. So let me put it in the pot. Alright, so we're going to bring that back up to a simmer. Like I said, you want to make sure that it's covered well. Gonna put the lid on it and let it come up to simmer there. There, now you can see we got a good rolling boil going. Going to move it to the back simmer burner. Get that on. So after half an hour, that's about how it's simmering. That's just about how I want it. So I'm going to put the lid back on and check it in a couple of hours. Alright, we're going to check this now. You see that hangs onto the fork. That's not ready to go yet. So we're going to put the lid back on and set the timer for another hour. Alright, now we're going to check it again. There, see how it just slides off the fork? That's ready to go. So 3.5 hours. This is a tougher end out here. About 3.5 hours to get to that point. Take it out, set it on a paper towel, and let it cool for, oh, maybe 15 minutes. Just don't want it cold, but want it cool enough to handle. So we'll let it cool off and then come back and peel the skin off. Alright, so now it's cooled off enough that we can handle it a bit, and we're going to split the skin down the middle in front till we can get a corner here. And for the most part it will just peel right off. Still a little warm, but and that tip out there, you always want to peel towards that, because otherwise you'll just tear up the meat, which if you're going to put it in lengua tacos or something like that, that's perfectly fine. But so the skin there, and that's not even really good for dog food. That's really tough, not very good stuff at all. But now that we've got boiled tongue and the skin peeled off of it, we can slice it, which is one thing I like to do. And that's ready to eat right now. It's actually really good to eat like that. But I also like to slice it and just give these a quick pan fry, give them a little crispiness. Sprinkle them with some salt and pepper, and sometimes even a little cayenne pepper. Or you can chop it up into chunks and throw it back into a sauce to make taco filling lengua. Also, like I said earlier, it's good with an acidic sauce on it, something that has some vinegary, or like a vinaigrette type sauce to help cut the fat a little bit. And I think I mentioned my mom used to grind these up and make like a similar to a ham salad or a sandwich spread with them, using pickles and mayonnaise, and that's really tasty. So anyway, that's how I prepare beef tongue, and you can too. I know it's ugly. A lot of people are squeamish about it, but like I said, if you haven't tried it and you don't know if you like it, you're just cheating yourself out of a life experience if you let just squeamishness keep you from giving it a try. There we go. Beef tongue.